I too have the power of a god.
I got loyalty inside my DNA. I got loyalty inside my DNA. I got loyalty, got war and peace inside my DNA. I got inside my DNA.
神羅転生
I was born in this world. Immaculate conception, not just me. Perform like this without you, one new weapon. I know you. I meditate and humble. If that I got war and peace inside my DNA. I got wars and pain and joy inside my DNA.
いい加減おとなしく切られやがれ
I was born in this world. Immaculate conception, not just me. Perform like this without you, one new weapon. I know you. I meditate and humble. If that is the pain, I got
キレキン穴があったら入りたい
loyalty inside my DNA.
I get so wrapped up in that intro every single time. I
It's
feel
so
like
fire. I'm not gonna lie.
It was quite hype. I was over here like, oh,
Just sitting up
wow.
here hype for absolutely no reason.
Get you ready to
no. You got every good reason to be hyped because it's finally time to do this anime court. We have been talking about it. We have hyped it up. People are ready. So many people think that I am not going to win this case because today we are putting on Dracula, the trial of Dracula from Castlevania, specifically the Castlevania Dracula, not all the crimes of every Dracula, just homie right here. So, yeah, as always, we are joined by a great cast of creators. Welcome for being here. Thank you guys for joining. Thank you guys for, as he ducks out, for being here.
Yeah.
I am Maul the Menace. Today I'm the plaintiff defending the people of, I want to say what, Viria, but it just, whatever. I'm defending them niggas. The ones that the Belmonts let down. Joined today by my judge, just a nice man from Ohio. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Name's Dwight. I'm here to hear out both of these arguments, figure to decide if Dracula is indeed innocent or not. It's as this is a court, he's innocent until proven guilty. So let's see if our defending here can actually keep him that way.
Okay.
I mean, she's here to do a great job. And normally in her everyday life, I would never bet against her because, there's nothing black women can't do. However, today I'm going against my lovely co-host and our defendant, Princess Monohoke. Please introduce yourself.
What's good, everybody? Princess Monohoke here. I am excited to present everyone with the truth, the way, Dracula.
I don't see it.
Face.
Look. To be fair, the way she torched both of us last night, Jamal, I'm not betting against her.
Listen, I get it. So let me start with my opening argument before I already lose. And I'm gonna say this: there are a lot of crimes that we could charge Dracula with. We can charge Dracula with assault because those innocent people got their asses whooped. And I'm not talking about the people who deserved it, because clearly there were people who, won the Olympics, like the fuck around and find out Olympics. They won gold too. Because why would you go messing with a man who has stakes of people's heads, like leading into the castle? That shows you that he has a history of violence.
Objection.
He's not going to do it again.
That's hearsay,
What?
Your Honor. He said that he is not a good person. I believe that that's hearsay. That sounds like opinion.
You may need to go ahead and rethink. Go ahead.
Objection!
Go ahead and rethink that statement, Jamal, because she is apparently going to be on your ass today.
On my ass on every so I will say this. There were people who were put on a stake, and Dracula is the king of dragons as stated in Latverian terms as to what the name means. In a more simpler term, Dracula was the one who ruled over every other vampire. As we've seen in later seasons of Castlevania, they were nothing to fuck around about. However, Dracula was the king. They bowed down and admitted his strength and his leadership. When he said, "We are not doing this," they didn't do it. I don't think that you get there by being the nice guy who tells blood-sucking vampires, people who are not seeing monsters who are not human, to see logic. They only see strength. They see, I can't beat your ass, so I have to listen to what you say. Because every single time they got the chance to, they turned on each other. And they couldn't beat Dracula's ass, given by the fact that Dracula beat his son's ass and put him into a coma. So we have what? Child abuse, neglect. That's at least three different crimes: assault, child abuse, neglect. Not to mention the murder of thousands of people. And before that, well, I'm speculation on the number because we weren't given an exact number before the defendant calls it another death. But there were people murdered. We can at least say it was more than one person, and we can go from there. Like, there were people that were murdered, there was assaults that happened, there was so many crimes that he could have just like, nah, bro, I'm good, and never done. Turn my opening argument over to the defendant.
Princess Mononoke? Oh no. Are we back? Are we having sound issues again? Oh, we're having sound issues again. Oh no, Jamal's gone. All right. Looks like we're having a couple of technical difficulties because I can't, because Jamal done bounced and Princess Mononoke, I can't hear you.
My bad. I'm here.
I'm telling. Yep. Okay. She figured it out. All right. Well, before she gets back, the do we know what we're doing at the beginning of the month yet? Are we settled on another game night?
So we're gonna do game night on the first episode, and from there we're going to do families. So the theme of next month is families.
Completely, totally, utterly wholesome. There's no way we can botch that.
We'll see about that.
But
you've been in the Trap House conversation.
How's my sound?
Better, actually. Yes, we hear you. Which is all right. But you have the floor. Your opening argument.
All right. Thank you. So I was taking notes, and I bumped my mic taking my notes because you said a few things that I would like to go back on. I feel that the plaintiff here is using a lot of speculation and personal feelings in his what feels like a burning of the stake. No pun intended. Obviously, we respect Lisa here when it comes to Dracula, my client. So I'd like to say I'm very happy that the plaintiff corrected himself. There was more than one person. However, I'd like to state that one life does not take precedence over another. Lisa's life mattered. Dracula's feelings and his response to what happened to his lovely wife matters. And I think that I'll be able to prove here today that while things have happened, my client is innocent. These were matters of the heart.
Okay. Okay. So just so I'm clear, we got a couple of charges here that we need to answer. I heard child abuse at the beginning of this. Am I mistaken there, Jamal? Was that one of the ones that you called out?
I mean, definitely,
Okay.
Alucard was definitely his
Okay.
child.
All right. All right. Okay. So I got child abuse, assault, murder in multiple counts. One of them specifically being Lisa. That's one of the ones that I kind of want to focus on today. So let's see here. We got the charges. Y'all want to flip for it, or do we want to give the floor over to the plaintiff?
I think the plaintiff should take the floor.
All right,
All right. So
Jamal, you've got the
in
floor.
the first,
Let's go ahead and hit all three of these charges: assault, murder, Lisa, and child abuse.
cool. Bet. Uh, so let's talk about it. Right before Lisa was murdered, Dracula was feared. That was not Dracula's castle to begin with. That was the Belmont's castle. The Belmonts have been fighting against creatures and things like that for centuries. When Trevor met up with Dracula, Dracula did not regard him as, I don't know you or your kind. That name Belmont doesn't ring a bell. He said it as if I know you and like I've killed thousands of Belmonts or, however many of Belmonts. Thousands might be a stretch because we were in the medieval times and I feel like they didn't get past 30s. Like, and amount of people and the amount of time that they lived in general. So the Belmonts died. The Belmonts had a giant castle. They clearly weren't just like, yo, we're going to hand this over, all our research, all our technology. We're going to allow the king of all the monsters to just perch here. I get it. Alucard was also hurt after his mom was murdered. And then essentially he went on to go, hey, we need to do more. We need to actually continue in the work and what she was saying and what mom was trying to do. They
Okay.
murdered her. They were wrong. Does not mean that we need to stoop to their level. We can be better than that.
Okay.
And his
I
father
get
didn't want to
the
hear it.
I get the I get what you're saying here, but just so I'm clear, you're admitting that at the end of the day, Dracula did murder his wife, correct?
So,
Are there circumstances here that need to be brought to the court's attention? What's happened here, man? Because I want to know. I'm gonna put this out there. I actually stopped giving Netflix my money, therefore I haven't actually seen Castlevania. So you're gonna have to convince me that if if he actually did it, why did he do it? What's the reason for it, Jamal?
so it's
What was
so
the
it's so hard.
reason?
So listen, there was a reason, right? And I'm not necessarily saying that the priest didn't deserve it, but you took your anger out on more of the population than just the priests. If you would have said, yo, the church wronged me, they took my wife from me. Now I'm coming to you as the people and I'm taking the church away from you. These people that destroyed my wife, that told me that she was wrong for being with me. And then she told me that I needed to be a better person. We gotta figure this out.
Right. Okay. Okay. In
But
response to, oh no, go ahead.
the church was definitely wrong. The church got what they got, and they deserve what they got. However, that does not mean that he was the right person to do that. There were people, there were things, there were services, and there's a way that you go about things. And Dracula said, fuck this shit. Y'all killed my wife. I'm gonna give you a year. In a year's time, if y'all are still here, I'm killing every single person.
Okay. Okay. I mean, all right. Princess Mononoke, what you got? Any response to the particular charge on the murder of his wife and the events apparently surrounding it? Because, yeah. Taking notes and hit her mic again. Nope,
Nope, can't hear
nothing.
you.
Not a thing. There you are. Try it now. Oh no.
No,
There we are.
Yeah.
that's ghetto. Oh, you should definitely be able to hear me. It's moving. Can you hear
Now
me?
we can hear you now.
Yeah.
We can hear you now. Yeah.
Everything from
Everything.
the webcam today. No mic. Okay. So, yes, I will be going back to the plaintiff's initial point. In regards to the Belmonts, if Dracula owns a Belmont castle, I wonder if the plaintiff can answer whether or not Dracula was hunting the Belmonts or if the Belmonts were hunting Dracula and his kind. I do believe that you'll find that the Belmonts were hunting Dracula and his kind. He did not go out of his way to hunt the Belmonts. The Belmonts were in pursuit of taking Dracula out because they regarded him as dangerous. Again, that's a matter of opinion. A family decided that he was dangerous and decided that they would hunt him for centuries, generations and generations dedicated to hunting one man who wanted nothing more than to mind his business. Dracula has only ever hurt people who intended him harm. Obviously, he is a vampire, and there is a measure of harm to one animal, but much like in the wild, lions hunt gazelle. You know, that is the circle of life. That is not a matter of murder when it is a vampire involved. Um, Also, I would like to say, in regards to the town killing Lisa, much like the plaintiff stated, he gave them a year's warning. In fact, in fact, I have a quote from my client. 1 year. I gave you 1 year to make your peace with your God. And this is not a quote, but do you know what they did, Judge? They had an entire festival dedicated to the murder of this man's beautiful wife, who wanted nothing more to heal these town people. She was there as a servant to the town. She was there healing, just a beautiful spirit, just giving and giving. And they murdered her for being a doctor. And then had a festival, essentially dancing on her grave. It wasn't just the church, the town was complicit in this. They danced at the festival. They all saw Dracula appear and give this warning. It was not
Okay.
just the church.
I want to make sure I'm clear on this because again, I haven't seen Castlevania, but so Lisa, Dracula's human wife, for some odd reason, because he never turned her. Am I understanding this correctly?
No, she was a human.
Okay, so she was human. The town saw that she was married to married to Dracula, and executed her for heresy.
Yes, but there was one particular. Uh-oh.
He'll be back. Go ahead and finish explaining
But
this to me
there
because
was
I'm gonna make
one
sure I got this
particular
right.
person, the medicine lady was essentially upset that she got replaced by Lisa. So she ratted her out to the church. The church invaded Lisa's space and saw that she had these medical instruments and all of the writings that she had after learning from Dracula and decided that she was a witch. And then they burned her. And even while she was being murdered, she cried out. She never wanted Dracula to hurt them, even though they killed her. Just a beautiful person. Hmm.
I mean,
So Dracula's not the one who pulled the trigger here. Then it was the town,
No,
if I
no.
understand this correctly.
He responded. He responded.
So is so so I want to go ahead and clarify one of the charges here. So in case of the murder of Lisa, Jamal, was it the town that actually killed her, or was it Dracula?
so Dracula by association. Like she wouldn't have been murdered if not for being married to Dracula.
But technically, I'd like to object to that point. But technically, Her being married to Dracula wasn't technically her undoing. Her learning from him in any shape or form was her undoing. Her choosing to be a woman and gain knowledge was her undoing. And ultimately trying to help people who are selfish and ungrateful.
I'm not going to sit here and argue the politics of the 1700s on the strength of the fact that we know that the fact that they didn't respect women back there probably plays a huge portion into this. But that being said, yikes. Yeah, that being said, I want to talk a little bit more about the next charge. What's the child abuse thing about?
So after Alucard, his son, found him, he basically was like, "Yo, you can't go killing these people. Like, this isn't what mom would want it. Like, you told her that you would be better, you wouldn't do this shit, and then you immediately turned and was like, uh, basically, you know, you tried to kill her. Like, you're killing the townspeople in a year. So at this point, it's yeah, like you're the bad guy. Like, you can't do this." And he's like, "Nah, I can do whatever the fuck I want. Like, I'm your father. I told them that they can't do this to my wife. They shouldn't have done this to my wife. And they absolutely shouldn't have killed his wife. However, murder by association. And not to mention the fact that, what's the name? Like, he goes to his son comes to him, father to son, like son to father, and he beats his ass and then puts him into a coma, only to be unsealed by people coming to look for a legend and a rumor of him being there.
Okay, I'm sorry. How old was Alucard when this interaction happened?
Hard to say.
It's a
Ah,
valid objection.
Alucard
Okay.
very much so looked to be an adult.
But is a child not a child? Is it still not
His child,
child
but
abuse
a
if you
child
put your
over a certain age, typically in that time frame of about 13 or 14 years old, would have been considered an adult male.
so it's an assault on adult male. It's still an assault.
But we're discussing a child abuse charge. Is that correct, Judge?
I mean, the one get caught, but you did put an assault charge on here too. So I was gonna ask about that. Are we just gonna drop the child abuse charge and just lump this in with that and call it
I don't
multiple
see any
assaults?
child abuse.
Yeah, I think we have to.
All right, we can do that. All right, so we'll go ahead, drop the child abuse charge, and then switch into multiple assault charges here. But one thing I do kind of have to put out here, despite the mitigating circumstances around it, I can't just sit here and ignore the fact that Dracula just took out an entire town, warning or no. So you are gonna have to defend that a little bit better, Princess Mononoke.
Okay, absolutely. I'd be happy to, Judge. So, technically, Dracula did not murder anyone. Dracula was in his castle while this happened. I don't recall my client being engaged in any murders.
There. So how did the town die?
Well, you see, what happened is Dracula told all of his friends and buddies in hell about his plight and what had happened to his wife, and he said, "Can you believe what these people did?" And they were like, "You know what, Dracula, we will ride for you. We will go up there and we will see what's going on." And then they came up there and they went in the church and they were like, "Hey, priest, you know who Dracula is?" And he was like, "Dracula? I've never met a Dracula before. Who is that?" And he was like, "So you gonna lie in church?" And he was like, "Lie in front of Jesus or God? Never." So ultimately, his downfall led to the fact that he was a liar. He lied in church. That proves that, see, Dracula by his hand didn't do that. Someone else did that. I don't know that man's name. We could probably do a photo lineup, but I don't think there's anybody in the town left to ID them. However, if anyone were left, they'd tell you that my client wasn't there and that he was in his castle drinking chai.
I'm gonna double check with the prosecution here. Was the cameraman at all in the castle when this command was given? Was the anime cameraman in the room? If he was, do we have the video evidence of him saying, "Hey, can you believe what they did to my wife? Did they decide to come out and ride for Dracula, or did Dracula ask them to ride for him?"
So listen, they did not come out to decide to ride for Dracula. Dracula was a king. Dracula ordered these people.
Mm, okay, okay. Was Dracula actually the king in that country? Not just of the vampires, but the
Dracula was the
actual
king of
ruling
vampires.
body of of the country.
No, I don't think he was considered a king of that country. He was literally just an entity that everybody knew about that was in the castle. And the reason why those people got staked, that the plaintiff mentioned earlier, is because they were trying to come in that castle and see what they could get. He stayed in that castle for centuries, minding his business. And in regards to his minions, um, I take that original point back. Maybe he didn't say, do you know what happened? What truly happened is, yes, he may have said, can y'all go do me this favor? But he did not murder anyone. The charge is for murder. He didn't murder anyone with his hands.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
not true. Because we didn't see him murder anybody doesn't mean that the order wasn't given. And if you tell someone to murder somebody, you still go down for it. Ask Lil Durk.
Oh no, for sure. That is a real thing. But um my only concern here is we're getting into the same type of territory as to why, you know, allegedly the Tupac's alleged actual murderer got off on that particular charge because of the same type of scenario it sounds like here. Just because we know that you talked to someone doesn't necessarily mean that we can prove it. And I need to know who was in the middle. Was it a situation where Dracula actually gave an order and they followed it, or did he make a statement and it was just, acted upon? If he gave an order and followed it, then yeah, he can definitely go on the hook too, because he would
No,
need to.
Dracula ordered all humans to be killed. Like, definitely was like, yo, we are murdering everybody. Everybody has to die. And everybody was with it.
That was the initial plan. However, he then gave
Princess Mononoke?
precedence. He gave control of that to his generals, and he thus became hands off. So I feel like he may have made a bad decision, but he did not murder anyone. Maybe a little bit of contract for hire, but definitely not murder.
Yeah, contract for hire. He would get the RICO charge, the whole thing, all of it. He'd be locked up with that. It. Yeah. Okay. So all right. So let's see here. What charges do we have? We got the assault charge. I just want to make sure, who is Dracula out here putting hands on individually, aside from how Alucard allegedly.
The only time we saw Dracula assault anyone is when these people burst into his castle and challenged him to a duel.
You mean his son? Because he fought his son twice.
Did his son challenge him to a duel or no?
His son came up talking to him. The first time he came up talking to him, but if you stake me and put me into a ground for X amount of time, am I not supposed to come back fighting you?
So was he assaulted first?
No, he was the aggressor first. He swung first.
I feel like maybe he was disciplining his son, and sometimes we feel like at some point you can't discipline your kids once they get to be a certain age.
There's discipline, and then there's I'm going to stake you in the ground as I carry out what I'm going to do.
Why are we putting human discipline into the way that vampires discipline their children? Do you know Vampire Discipline 101? How do you know that's not a normal way that they discipline
Nope, but I know
children?
that Alucard was half human, and the human side of him wouldn't appreciate it being staked in the ground.
And the vampire side of him needed to be punished.
For what? For not listening to his father?
Time out. Alucard was half vampire. Who was his mother?
Lisa.
Oh. Okay, yeah, I think I'm gonna put that child abuse charge back on the table because it don't
He
sound
was
like
an
that.
adult.
I mean, why are you complaining? That's something that Jamal has to prove.
Yeah.
I thought you said you were putting it back on.
It is back on the table, but I mean,
Listen, all I'm saying
how
is he's
what's the length of time that the series took place over? It couldn't have been a situation where Lisa was that much removed if she was a human. Was she Dracula's girl for years and years and years? Or I mean, it couldn't have been more than the 2 decades, which would at the most put would put old boy at what, 19?
Which would be considered
what's very
well
ambiguous is they never gave an age for Alucard.
Mm-mm.
Uh,
And Lisa
all right.
never really aged in the scene that you've seen her. Like you see her get introduced and then you see her as she's dying.
Oh,
But then
all right.
also, Dracula had been traveling the world as a normal man for years. It had to have been years because he essentially returned from that trip, and when he got back, she had recently died. She had just died. What was the day of or the day before or something like that? But they had just killed her. So he had to have been out traveling for years to have done all of this and returned. He wasn't going at his normal speed. He was traveling as a normal man.
Right. So it's very ambiguous. It could be
Yeah.
he was about 17. It could have been about 15.
Could have been about 19. Could have been about
Okay.
20.
Well, okay. In that case, yeah, we'll drop the child abuse charge because even by human standards, he would have been considered an adult after 18. So we'll go ahead and put that.
Yeah.
So we got the multiple counts of murder of the town, child abuse. Well, not child abuse. We're taking that off the table. The assault. Jamal, did he actually start any of these duels that you're talking about?
So yes, he did start the first one. Like I can't tell you in the second one who started the fight because she does have a point where they came back into his house. However, Alucard lived there.
I
And
mean,
he didn't break in the first case. He approached his dad. No matter how he approached him, he came to him talking about his mom and how he felt too. So no matter how hurt that he was, he talked to him first. And then he grabbed Stone with religious intent. Like, and proceeded to stake him. So Alucard was not the aggressor. He had an aggressive tone, but not necessarily why. He was more, why would you do this unless I'm going to attack you? He knew he couldn't win.
I don't know. I feel like he came in there with the intent of challenging his father. He didn't really truly know what that would entail. And also, again, I want to go back to the point that matters of discipline, we don't necessarily know how that looks in the vampire world. Maybe in their world, whatever happened in that room was disciplining his son. It's not a matter necessarily of assault. It was discipline for the son. It may look bad to you in your human life. You can't punch one of your children in the face. But as a
No.
vampire, that's the only thing that'll get through to a rebellious son.
all right. So I think I'm ready to rule on a couple of these. Do we have any additional charges that we gotta go into?
Nah.
Okay. All right. So in the child abuse one, I'm definitely we're gonna go ahead and we already went ahead and dropped that, added that to a multiple assault charge. In that case, I only heard 2 to 3. The first one being Alucard, and yeah, he probably shouldn't have just hauled off and hit his son like that. The man's a grown man at this point. He needs to be able to make his own decisions, including talking to another grown ass adult any old
Uh,
type of way. Now, mind you, I can't necessarily say that he didn't deserve those consequences, but if we're gonna go by the letter of the law here, he probably shouldn't hit his son and stake them into the ground so that he can go and murder an entire town. Which, by the way, yeah, boy did. I can't necessarily. I no. The other assault charges of people breaking into his house, so that way, they came into the house. I'm never gonna tell anyone that they can't defend their own home. Aggressive tone or no, like
they came to the house. They broke into the house with
they
his son.
broke it.
So technically,
They broke into the wait. His son let the break in.
yeah, they were all together.
Does that
Oh,
not sound like a setup, Your Honor?
that definitely sounds like a setup.
Damn it, I could have
Oh,
said.
Can we revisit the assault charge against my client, please?
Listen, if I know I can't beat you and you stake me into a ground, I'm going to go get my homies and we're going to beat your ass.
that still
Whoa.
sounds more
But
like
that's what you're trying to hang my client for going to go get his homies and then beating ass. It's not our fault you can't take a punch in your human body.
I
You
mean, time
staked me.
out. Wait,
They
wait,
staked him.
wait. I think we got a little confused here. This is Princess Mononoke. That I understand that you hype over there, but Jamal brought up. But you're telling me that Alucard led a party into the house and tried to assault Dracula in the first place, correct?
They tried to stop him from killing everybody. He was going to murder everyone. They saved themselves. They were trying to save the world.
All right, so okay, so wait. Jamal, are you trying to defend Dracula for dealing with the boy and the people who broke into the house on these assault charges? Or do you want me to throw the book at him? Because I'm sitting here thinking to myself, they might not have necessarily had to be there, but at the same time, if they're in here trying to save the town, I
The
mean,
world,
was
not just
Dracula
the town.
right? Okay, so in that case, I mean, if he's trying to save the world, is it the situation where Dracula's justified and actually, defending himself because they're going to try and kill him?
I mean, in all actuality, probably killed.
I don't know. I lost you there for a couple seconds, Jamal.
They to the ground.
Jasmine, did you get that?
Barely. Not quite. Try it again. You look clear now.
I said, best you can do is you can probably just stake him into the ground. Killing
Okay,
Dracula
yeah,
it wasn't a thing that anybody knew to be able to do, and they've been trying. At least the Belmonts have for years, and they had nothing.
so wait, did he just? All right. So I just want to make sure I got this right. So the assault charges, because we're gonna go ahead and count Alucard as an adult here. Um, Alucard was the incident with Alucard breaking in with his boys the same incident as the one where he got beat up and staked into the ground.
Yeah, no, second incident.
Say again?
No.
That was the second incident.
Okay. So the first time he got staked into the ground, broke out, went and got his boys and came back. Yes? Okay. Dracula's gonna be guilty on the first time. He probably shouldn't have stapled his son to the ground. Just it's rude. However, Princess Mononoke has a point. If Alucard got loose, went and got help, and came back. That ass whooping's on him. He can't blame Dracula on that. But from here, the murders. If it were if it were a situation, it's a little bit of a double standard here. I'm not 100% sure on the ownership of the territory of the town. If it's a situation where Dracula is actually a king or some other type of official, I guess. Although in this day and age that we're talking about, that particular title is a little vague. Um, I could see where he gave the town an ultimatum, and if they did not go with said ultimatum, it would be, a bad deal for them. That being said, it doesn't sound like he had any real type of authority other than the fact that he was just old as hell. So I can't necessarily give him the get off my lawn argument, because that's what it wanted to sound like. So Princess Mononoke, he gonna have to go on the hook for that town murder. Like I understand what you're getting at. It was retribution for his wife, but I mean retribution in a non-legal sense is still murder.
What about in the moment? I believe that it was a crime of passion. I
All right.
feel like he was just so traumatized by the loss of his wife that he just couldn't handle that loss and he acted in a way maybe that was unbecoming. A year sounds like a lot of time, but it's nothing to a vampire. It's a drop in the bucket.
But it is
Ye-
to a human though, and Alucard's half human.
And his son was still alive.
Yeah, I'm not.
Yeah, suffering.
It's still the fact that he went ahead and gave what seems to be a command to lesser demon lords to come up and deal with the town himself. That's not necessarily something with somebody with any, just a random person would have the power to do. Therefore, there's got to be intent behind it. I understand that it was retribution. I understand that he was even warned, but at that point, it makes it premeditated. And I get that it was a flex to say, you know what, y'all got a year to either get lost or make peace with your god. And I understand that they didn't do it. And to be fair, a year is a really long time. Not necessarily for the vampire himself, but for his victims, a year's a decent amount of time for them.
I
Even
mean,
if
but
it
they
But
get
was
to go see their God now. He helped them.
that's not
He helped them. He's a
that is not
humanitarian.
that is not how that works, ma'am. That's not. As far as Lisa's concerned, though, specifically Lisa, no, Dracula had nothing to do with that. I'm not gonna go ahead and throw the book at the man for xenophobes for getting on his wife. That's not how this plays out. So, um, split the difference here, 2 and 2. I mean, y'all haven't given me a solid way to execute a vampire. So for real, all we can do here is house arrest. If you want to, suggest stapling them to the ground for a couple of years, I guess that's what we can do that here. But I mean, we're really light on what we can do to immortals here
It's too late, Judge.
to
His son
to
murdered
your.
him.
Oh well, yeah.
he came back to life.
Then time served. What do you want from me?
We'll take it.
What do you want from me here?
Ah,
Yes, that feels like a win for the defense.
wow, Judge, just because you ain't watched the anime?
I mean, if his son already got in there and dealt with him, I understand if he came back. But on the second life here, has he committed any other major atrocities or crimes?
Nope, nope. He just wants to go be happy. That's all we're gonna say. 'Cause
Unfortunately.
you keep ruining it.
Damn. Then what? Then I mean then it is what it is. Time served. I mean we can't. I can't. Yeah. No. I'm I'm sorry he had a save point. That's all I got.
So the man can come back, murder all these people, and you just gonna let him get off because he died once.
I mean,
That's crazy.
there's only one. There's only really one charge there that he would have actually gotten a death penalty for. That assault charge, he could walk that off. Take the time in jail, house
But
arrest.
the
But
sense of murdering the entire humanity, you're just like, yeah,
I
homie got what he
mean,
got. He
He
came
got
back to life, so
murdered.
he good.
He
if
got
he's
murdered. The justice was served. This is a new life.
I feel like you looked at this nigga face and gave him pretty privilege.
Pretty privilege exists. Put his
I
fine ass back
mean,
up there. That's what. Yes.
that's not
That's
that's
black.
Nothing
not
about this
really
nigga look like, yo, like
that's
I'm
not
I'm a
really my
living.
cup. That's not really my cup of tea here. But I mean, I guess that's look, look, put me, look.
See, look,
I'm,
you're
I'm all
speechless at
for
his beauty.
I'm all for dealing with the judging hat. I'm wearing the judging hat right now. You want to kill a man again for a crime that he has already been killed for, specifically. Alucard did not appreciate what happened after, in the wake of his mother's death. And to be fair, the court also does not appreciate what happened to those people in the wake of Alucard's mother's death. That being said, I will concede that he is an entity that probably should not just be out and about. I'm sure that the plaintiff here, I'm sure that they will consent to the house arrest that has already been, put on there from the assault charges. But in regards to the actual execution that would need to happen for the murder of the townsfolk, yeah, time served, my guy. I can't, you can't do that twice.
The defense agrees to these terms.
Not the defense agrees.
The nigga guilty.
I
You're
will
not the
agree
judge.
with you. I will agree with you on that. And he was found guilty. That being said, he has also already been executed for this.
Oh.
And I would like to cite the King incident, the King Piccolo incident as the legal precedent for this. We're not gonna go after Piccolo because of the fact that his first life was a bad dude. I can't. He's been nothing but a model citizen ever since. Just
Nothing but a model citizen.
mostly a
I
model
seem to
citizen.
remember him kidnapping his former enemy's son.
His former enemy's son, there was consent there at the end of the day.
He murdered his
But
former enemy's son. Like he murdered his former enemy and his new enemy.
there was definitely consent for that. The cameraman was there. I'm not. We're here for this.
Judge, I feel like there's some bias here. But all right, I'm gonna let it go.
I feel
we
like
we can look. If you would like to bring the Piccolo case up on appeal, we can do that. But in the meantime, as far as Alucard goes, yes, he needs to be on house arrest. Please see that. Please see that you'll defend. Please see that your client, adheres to that. But in regards to the actual death sentence, time served. I don't have a gavel or anything, but
Oh my gosh!
Sorry, I'm sorry. I'll keep my hands to myself, Judge. I know we can walk off assault charges in here.
he's got house arrest for the assault charges, man. I
that's all he
can't.
ever wanted. That's all he ever wanted.
Damn! I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
No, you're not. You're not sorry. You're not sorry at all.
House arrest. The man murdered. The man
We're-
murdered people, and he
we-
gets time served because he got killed and house
Yes.
arrest.
Yes,
What
house
do you
arrest for the
mean?
assault. House arrest for the assault charges, so he does not go out doing it again. And I feel like that will also be a pretty good deterrent to him going outside and murdering anyone else, because no one else is bothering him. Now that
So,
being
question,
said,
Judge, what would you say to Sukina? would you say that because he murdered people and was known as the king of curses back then, that he is now not guilty now?
No, because the fact that he got out and immediately started doing it again. If I'm not mistaken, you have said so yourself. Dracula's basically been minding his own business on this second life.
No. We just ain't see him on the second life. He's still
Oh, the
Dracula.
cameraman wasn't there, as the judge said previously.
I need evidence. I can't condemn this man's second life if it is a situation where I don't have any crimes.
That's
The plaintiff
actually
just can't
fair.
give up, Judge. He can't handle this L. Should we pack it up and deliver it to him?
I mean, my verdict's been read. I'm just explaining myself at this point.
I feel like I'm getting a shame face, but I can.
I mean, I'm getting it too, so I mean, it is what it is. But
well, I guess this is the end of our friendship and the episode.
Not the
Apparently, it's just it's how it ends. Not with a bang, but with a whimper.
That's all right. Y'all will be back playing Pokemon in the sunlight very soon.
No, we won't.
Yeah, we will. It'll happen. You're gonna want to run the hands because of this episode, but it's all right.
No, I won't. I refuse. I won't charge my Switch. That motherfucker's been left on top.
I won't charge it. Oh man.
Well, all right, y'all. We will see y'all on the next one. We will be putting together a game show on the next one because unfortunately, Princess Mononoke won't be there. And, because we miss having our whole crew to start off the month fresh, we will come back with our family theme month. So our first theme was Monster Mayhem. Next theme will be family, and we're starting it off with a whole family. So we will bring everyone from the network on in place of our friends not being there. So if you miss us, check us out next week. Yeah, that's about it. We'll be back for our game show episode next week.
See y'all then.
I have been Maul the Menace. This is my co-host, Dwight. Tell them who you are. Oh, you can find me on Facebook at UNAB Network. You can find me on TikTok and Instagram at BlerdxTrapHouse. Dwight, tell them who you are and where to find you.
Name's Dwight. Y'all can find me here every weekend on BlerdxTrapHouse mostly. Although I'll occasionally be on Anime Court. We gotta have a conversation on that one. But yeah, no. UNAB every weekend. I'm here. What about you, Miss Princess Mononoke?
I'll be here. I'll be around. I'll be cooling. You gonna find me.
She just pop up. Where can they find you at if they're looking?
At Princess Mononoke. Everywhere. All the socials. Don't look for me on X. Mind your business on there.
Mind your business on X. Got it. Everybody, we'll see y'all on the next one. Peace.